Hey, what's up, everyone? We are here. We are live in Tulum, out there, Zama. Beautiful weather. We got jungle vibes going on. We got a beautiful couch. I got a beautiful guest here with me, amazing human being. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
That's me, Mr. Scott Little.
Mr.
Yeah.
Scott Little. Is that a movie? Scott like Little or something? I feel like that's a movie.
Stuart Little.
Stuart Little.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm getting them mixed up.
Yeah,
Scott.
definitely.
All right, we're gonna do the remix, Scott Little.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
man.
So what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man.
You're
I'm
good? How you feeling?
Yeah.
Super mellow, super chill.
Yeah. The medicine last night was good. Had a nice
Mm.
community event in Centro, over at our brother Shane's. Some music and yeah, the psilocybin, which we can talk about, is always potent in whether it's micro or macro.
Oh, okay. So
So
yeah, let's talk about it. How was the experience last night?
yeah, man. I mean, it's wow. I would say that psilocybin is probably the most powerful medicine that at least I've utilized in my journey, in terms of the integration, because I've sat with a few different medicines, and I feel like with psilocybin, does it always show up and teach you what you need, in that moment. And for me, especially with being out here in Tulum, and what I've learned in the last 9 months in living here, is that to be more present, to be in the moment, a lot of the times is really truly the gift, and that we put ourselves through so much in terms of strife and stress and struggle a lot of the times in the journey of life, but the reality is that it's the medicine is available to us, like, in every given moment, and that we don't have to sit in ceremony and puke our brains out and do all this crazy mumbo jumbo kind of work sometimes, if we just appreciate the moment you know
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's living in the moment. So do you think that the medicine helps facilitate the moment, or what do you think?
I would say it's more of a reminder.
A
It's
reminder.
to bring you back to truth,
Ah,
you know
what's truth? What's
and truth is everything that resonates on a higher frequency,
okay.
you know um
I like that, resonating on a higher frequency. And then
yeah,
the opposite of truth would be maybe disharmony or
yeah, exactly. Just the things that don't resonate, things that like aren't in alignment with what feels, it just feels good.
mm,
There's duality in life, good, bad, dark, light, masculine, feminine,
mm-hmm.
and just being able to resonate on that frequency.
And do you feel that, so with that duality of, good and bad, yin and yang, do you feel that as much as we want to resonate with truth and that high frequency, do you think we should also be aware of our lower frequencies and incorporate that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's definitely something I've danced with, in my journey over the last few years, especially. And yeah, I mean, the reality is that we live in a dualistic world, right? Um, and it's really honing both sides. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually I was eating a mango last night, and like it was so good, but the outer core of it was a little bit sour, and I was like, so is life in a lot of ways. You can't appreciate the sweetness and the tender, the heart
Yeah,
of the mango without the sour
the sour,
sometimes.
the other side.
Yeah, the other side, to really truly appreciate it. So I've just been, I would say, dancing with yeah, with it all,
Dancing with the devil.
yeah, and acceptance, you
Right.
know
Yeah, yeah. I think I had seen a was it Alan Watts, who was talking about how
yes.
Carl Jung talks about like the shadow and being holy, and when people who are holy it's not that they're perfect or that they're always good, but they've incorporated, the light and the dark, so they're whole. They're not just one-sided. They're complete. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So they walk a fine line between not knowing whether they're these perfect or good beings, or whether they're evil or malicious, because
Right.
they have both sides,
Right.
but they know how to incorporate and balance it.
Right.
So it's kind of we're like, I don't, is this person real or good? When we see someone who's holy, we're just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think working with the shadow and all these things, all these psychological things that bring us balance.
Yeah. No, they do, for sure. And it's, I mean, if you look at the evolution of humanity, right? Like where we came from, like what and how we're operating just a couple thousand years ago, it's like, we're capable of anything, and we got to remember that evolution takes time. We're in a really tumultuous evolutionary process right now, right? In the world, with everything going on. And again, coming to a place of acceptance through that, I think is the medicine, in and of itself.
Yeah.
So
what was your experience last night with the medicine?
Yeah, I wouldn't. It wasn't like it was, because I only took about a gram.
Okay.
So it wasn't like it was some like blast off or anything of that nature. It was just, I feel like that with psilocybin mushrooms, as most people know them as, it gives you just perspective, and it shows up. That's what's so beautiful about organic medicine in whatever form, if you're respect it, if you're with it, is that it's a nice gentle nudge, and just everything. It kind of just showed me like what I've been through over the last 5 years, the especially in this kind of spiritual journey. I mean, whatever, like I don't really put a time frame on it, because it's it's really a a life collective, when it comes to a time frame, but specifically is like an adult, and really focusing on being a better human being, better soul, all that stuff.
I like that.
Yeah, is it again just really being able to show me what where I'm at, how I'm operating, what I can change, the whole, the whole bit. I love doing this podcast out here because we get all the all the noises,
Yeah, all the ambiance of Tulum, and
right. We got some ladies over here just tanning, getting in the pool. We got horns going off.
We'll probably have some of those Mexican carts passing by with the music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there it is though. There's another opportunity to like just be with it all, and not react. Be in the be present. Be in the middle. Alan Watts, man, he's one of the greatest philosophers ever. Some of his stuff like really is impacted and inspired me to just have different perspective.
Yeah, I love listening to Alan Watts. I think I've actually never read any of his books. I've seen a lot of his YouTube speeches. Have you read any of his?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, what's your favorite?
Oh, I mean,
or like a book that resonates with you, or something you can remember.
Man, there's not like, I listen to like a lot of the channels, like the freestyle stuff, on like that's edited and made into like videos and like that kind of stuff. There's a few songs out on Spotify that have like sampled his.
Yeah, a lot of DJs sample his stuff.
Yeah, so it's not. I wouldn't even say it's anything like specific. It's more like just like a collective, of it all.
A collection.
So.
Yeah, I think who else resonates with you? Alan Watts. I was talking to this girl the other day. She said Rumi. You know Rumi?
Yeah, of course.
Rumi, and some other people. But
yeah.
Like I say, I mean, it's always interesting how there's just a few of these human beings who create an impact on the world.
Right.
Why do you think that is? I mean, there's 7 billion of us. I mean, we're all capable of this, right? I mean, for the majority. But.
Right. Man, that's a really good question. I think there's a lot of like modern, modern people too, like Neil Strauss, a lot of his content, especially in the last 5 years or so. I've actually met Jason Silva.
Yeah, he was here.
I met him over at Matcha Mama recently. We connected, and really really interesting guy.
He has brain
Brill-
games, right?
yeah, I don't know
He has
exactly.
like a thing with brain. I watched his show, and he has this one talk about futuristic and how we're creating all this technology, and it's evolving humanity. And
Brilliant mind. Like the Aubrey Marcuses of the world, like people that are really putting themselves out there to stand up for what's right. My brother Kevin Oros, man, I'm gonna send him this link. Tune in. My brother from Bali. There's a lot of people in my circle, or just in general, and especially through like the community building that's been happening out here in men's groups and stuff that inspire me, and have been an impact over the last especially here in the last 9 months and living here full time. So it's kind of to answer your question, kind of a concoction of different people and thought leaders and philosophers and the whole bit. So do you have any particular Alan Watts content that I don't know, that you've kind of meditated or studied or?
No, I mean, a lot of it is just what I come across on the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm is always giving me some Alan Watts and some Sadhguru and some Rumi and some of these things.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, so you talked about like the community you've met in your journey in your life, and you're building here in Tulum a men's circle, a community of conscious men. Can you talk about like how did you get started and all these things?
Yeah. So basically, it's really kind of organically evolved. I met Ali, who you did a podcast with recently, when I moved out to when I was living at Selena, first few months here in Tulum, and we kind of started talking. Hey, she was gonna do a women's circle, and she was like, hey, do you want to maybe start a men's circle, and we can collaborate and kind of mix the two on a given night. And that just kind of organically built over a few months. We did it at a hotel in town, and then parted ways there, and kind of just went our own direction with the men's work. And yeah, man. So it really wasn't an intention other than just building community, and it's kind of organically grown to what it is, and a couple dozen guys every week, and then opening it up to now creatives and artists to come and showcase their work at Elixir in town, and this beautiful like boutique 2-level like venue / restaurant. Fucking amazing food.
Oh yeah.
My God, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The food is just amazing there. But yeah, so that's what we're.
So what are these like men's circles? I mean, I've been to them, but for people who are listening,
yeah, sure.
What do they look like when you're coming here to Tulum, or you want to be part of a men's circle? What does it look like?
Yeah, so really, it's a space for men to come together and just be authentic, open, vulnerable, share what and where we're all at. There's usually a theme or something that we're running through in terms of just given kind of forecast of the evening, and it kind of just it goes where it needs to go. Been talking about a lot of different things, especially relating to the world and the state of where we're at, obviously, which we briefly discussed. And so yeah.
What are some issues that are brought up in the men's circle that really resonate with you, or that really capture your attention, that maybe a lot of men keep bringing up with issues with how they feel? Or
well, I know my own journey. It's like I'm pretty emotionally attuned, EQ wise. I feel like I've got a pretty solid amount of emotional intelligence that I've been able to develop through my journey. And I would say that the main thing, what it all comes back, it's not even just men's work, but the whole spectrum of the world and where we're at is heart space, and the blocks around the heart, and not being fully and truly aligned in that sense. And I think you see that across multiple fronts in the world, in Western culture, especially with, insane capitalism, the wars, the endless war on drugs, and just, corruption and all the political imbalance and everything in that regard. It's just, it's crazy, man. And that's really what we're, kind of getting to the core of in these circles is, how can we be better people? How can we be better men? How can we show up and be our most authentic selves in our own lives, in our community, in our relationships, all that stuff.
Right, I agree. I think that both men and women are suffering from it stems from the heart chakra block, and
Yes.
society and the modern way of living kind of blocks this emotional IQ, as you call it, and our ability to express ourselves and our desires. But with men specifically, I think it manifests in symptoms like depression, anxiety, and maybe domestic abuse, and a kind of mismanagement of masculine energy, which
Right.
a lot of society calls toxic masculinity.
Of course.
So a lot of men feel maybe that they don't have the support that, for example, that women have, because women are mostly in groups, and they can talk to their friends, where men, when you have problems, you kind of fall into yourself and become lonely and despair. So I feel like men's circles are a great way to combat that.
Right. And we're also, evolving. It's not even gender aside now, the masculine and the feminine, however you identify, as a human and all that stuff. It really, comes down to, alignment with that feminine side of, yourself. And I think that, unfortunately, a lot of the problems that we see in society stem from toxic masculinity, and the lack of balance with the feminine side of ourselves, And so, that's a lot, a lot of what we, get into, during these weeks, is balancing it all out. And it's kind of a multifaceted, multi-layered kind of thing,
Yeah.
and that's what I've come to find. And I can only control my reality, right?
Right. Or control how you respond to it.
Exactly. So that's really what I just focus on. Like, how can I be in my heart more? How can I peel back the layers? How can I just be a better human being in general?
Yeah. I think for a lot of the guys and the men and the boys or whoever is listening, they're maybe tuning in for you as a facilitator of the men's circle. I think that there's a lot of in the media, or as men. Do you know Jordan Peterson?
Of course.
Yeah. What do you think about him?
I haven't, I've listened to some of his work. I haven't read any of his books.
Yeah, I think he has 12 rules for life or something like that.
and then 12 more rules, I think is in the book. So.
Yeah. But he's becoming really popular for a lot of. He's resonating with like more men. It seems like, but what he's saying is that a lot of society, we're taught that we live in a patriarchy, and in a sense we kind of do. But I feel that separating men and women and making all, like, not all men, but like making men feel degraded or making emasculated. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's again another systemic, problem and issue, and I wish I had a crystal ball right now, man, because I really haven't liked the tone of where things have been headed in terms of the evolutionary process and the control and the manipulation and all the political agenda and the media and the fake news and all this stuff that's just very, and not fake news from like a, not like,
It's
like
fake, like Trump, like
exactly. Like a really, and I actually don't side with, I think politics in general are for the most part bullshit. I don't side with either. I think it's a waste of time and energy and control, that I just don't get involved in it anymore. It's just so out of balance. But it's true though, on the, like I said, back to the fake news, like, say it's truly becoming that whole, kind of situation where, things are fabricated and lost in translation, and the truth is just withheld. And yeah.
I think a lot of with the statistics, I mean, it's hard to know what's accurate or not. But in terms of what, for example, what Jordan Peterson is saying is that, we live kind of where a few men are in control of society, but these few men, but for the majority of men, they're not in control of society. They're the workers, they're the constructions, the carpenters, and a lot of men are in prison. For example, the majority of men are in prison, the majority of men go to war, the majority of men are suffering from depression and dying, the majority of men are getting killed. And it's like, we look at society as like, that men are in control of everything, but if you look at statistically wise, men are the most likely to be suffering and dying from a lot of these incidents.
Yeah.
So in terms of like what can we do to maybe change that, or offer some kind of solutions for men out there? And
I think that the buck stops with you, right? That's all you can really do, is just work on being a better human being yourself. Spend more time alone, in reflection, and educating yourself, reading, meditating, breath work, psilocybin, microdosing, whatever.
everyone should just take some medicine, some magic mushrooms.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and open up their mind. And
Well,
heart.
I think that it's the most powerful in terms of mind, heart cohesion, expansion, the whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the what we'll see hopefully over the next decade or so, and especially with the legalization of it, is the some breakthrough in that sense, in terms of medical and healing, and all these different things. Continuing with the evolution of it all.
The evolution. All right, yeah, we're back. We just had a little camera full, card full.
So many podcasts, man. So many people sharing the medicine, the truth.
Yeah. So do you think even medicine is truth, or conversation and having open dialogue with people is kind of a sort of medicine? Yeah, like I was saying too. Also, for example, I just realized this a few days ago, that this podcast, like even doing what we're doing now, is also really meditative. Like we spend however long this podcast is going to be, maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we're just focused on conversation, being present in the moment, being here.
Yeah.
And we had a little break, and then we go straight to our phones, and then we start checking our phones, and but here in this conversation, this space, we can kind of just stay focused and stay present, and it's almost meditative and therapeutic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really, when it comes down to simply that, like how can we be more present in general?
Mm-hmm.
And and connect, and have good conversation. I agree. I love like the just the sound. I know it's really, it's cool. I don't know. I've not podcasted.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's fun. I mean, even just listening to podcasts, they're amazing. And I think this is not the new. I mean, it's big still, but it's the way that we've spread knowledge throughout history. I mean, yeah, books are good, but conversation, storytelling, sitting around a campfire and conversing with your tribe, and with your men, with your women, and having open dialogue and debate and spoken word, and feeling the vibration of someone else's voice and their presence and their aura and their being around you. I mean, it's great to read a book and get knowledge, but I mean, even when you text someone, right? I mean, you don't really get the full expression, the full communication of what the person is saying. So yeah.
I remember it's funny you say that, because like I remember when texting like first started being a thing, at my old like Nokia, like whatever 3320 or whatever the fuck, and
break phones.
Exactly. And I remember like text messaging being like a thing, like, oh yeah, you can text message people now, and I was like, why would I text someone?
Yeah.
Like, this sounds so stupid. Like, I would just much rather call them, or like connect with the whatever. And now we got like voice notes and that kind of stuff. But I find myself, like just it's a really weird. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Hey,
We got
let's go. The music.
Yeah, no, it's really weird because yeah, like you said, back before texting was the thing. I mean, people in this generation don't really remember that people really didn't text. I mean, I think they had something like the sidekick or something, and people would be texting each other, and
The
it was like
sidekick, man. Shit was like the shit. The shit was the shit.
yeah, and then yeah, everyone kind of was like, man, why would we text? You just call someone and get it out the way. Texting takes so long. People have to you text and you don't know when they can respond 2-3 hours later, and yeah, people kind of got away from that, and now the new norm is just texting. And I guess we're coming back to it, right, with the voice notes.
True.
And then we're coming back to it with more I don't know if people are calling more, but they're definitely using voice messages, and the podcast, the audio form like Clubhouse, and all these things are coming up.
Yeah. No, really, it's kind of a cool place in evolution right now in that sense, and with technology. And I think that there's definitely some scary technology out there and things that are kind of transpiring or progressing, but there's also some and I'll lead it into this, that I believe that no matter what, it's all divinity anyways.
Okay.
It's all divine.
It's all divine.
Yeah, that no matter what is going on, that it's all playing out to your advantage anyway.
Okay.
No matter how dark, difficult, challenging things get, that that it's
that even the darkest and most difficult things are what bring the challenge to your life and make you elevate you as a human being, help elevate your spirit.
Yes.
I think that
it's really what it is, man. And I think that the more that we as people can lean into, again, it just goes back to the heart space.
Right.
This is the work. This is the medicine, really, truly. Anything that you're doing is, what is it reminding you of, right? Is how to be in your heart and have compassion and love and be a beacon of light.
Okay.
More.
Being a beacon of light. So then, yeah, I mean, a lot of maybe some women listening to the podcast also want to know, or are also struggling with the idea that, they are, how can we get this male image of men, boys being boys, or
yes,
all these things where men, view women as kind of an object or a property, and then women can't walk down the street without feeling scared, or all these things. And how do we change the culture around men?
There goes the phone.
More technical difficulties, but yeah, you can go ahead while I'll fix that.
Yeah. Man, I think that it's such a multifaceted situation when it comes to that whole that whole scope of things, with men, women, those kinds of things, relating to relationship, connection, or just interaction in general, right? And I think that's, I just keep going back to love and the heart space, because that in and of itself is the ability to connect with your highest self, your truest self. And until people stop numbing themselves with different things, alcohol, drugs that are that are harsh on your body, your mind, not like plant medicine that opens you up, opens up your heart, opens up your mind, expansion, those kinds of things, will we not see change? Although I do feel like really truly in general that things really are progressing for the better.
Okay. So what kind of examples for, I mean, you said maybe not using alcohol and substances. What kind of ways can we open up more the heart chakra? And
I mean, breath work, for me has been life changing. Like holotropic breath work.
What's that?
If you look it up. So it's like, if you look at like Wim Hof, and his kind of methods of, like the mouth breathing, or like, that kind of stuff for, whatever, 20-30 reps, and then holding your breath for as long as you can. And then, that whole cycle, Holotropic breath work is a process where you're doing deep breathing, but doing it for like an extended period of time, 30, 45 minutes, and really taking yourself to an altered state of consciousness where you can process emotion, trauma, pain, anger, all the stuff. It gets you into this this transcendental state of being, and really, like, it's just been a total like godsend in my life, and something I highly recommend for people in general that want to go to the alternate route of not sitting in ceremony and puking your brains out. Or I mean, there's other methods too. You don't have to, ayahuasca, boga, bufo, DMT, all these different methods.
But even still, Leah, with the what is it, holotropic breathing?
Holotropic.
Holotropic.
Yeah, yes. HOLO, like tropic.
Yeah.
Tropic, yeah.
So that's more of like breathing with your mouth, or that's Wim Hof's method.
No. That's the breathing with your mouth
Breathing
for like 30, 45 minutes, and you usually have like a practitioner, like a someone that's guiding you.
Is it because you get more oxygen through your mouth?
Well, yeah. Or you can do it. There's different ways of going about it. It's just the intention of doing it for a longer period of time that gets you into that state.
Is that breath work because maybe you're getting more oxygen in your body, so it's kind of maybe giving you like a high, or is it the practice of like what do you think is the reason that you get into this state where of a different consciousness, and you start. And what's do you know?
Because
really?
of oxygen.
Because of the oxygen.
That's really it. You're oxygenizing your brain.
Oxygenizing your brain. Okay.
Yeah. So is that the word? Is it oxygenizing?
Oxygenating.
Oxygenating. I think
your brain. Yeah. So you're getting. So it's kind of maybe almost like like a medicine, like a drug that you're getting this this element, this compound into your brain, and it's giving you more oxygen. So. Is your brain maybe operating more efficiently, or is it what do you think is happening? Do you have
your guess is as good as mine, man. I've seen what and how. If you read up on it, like if you pull it up and look at the science and what and how it affects your your brain, your mind, the whole bit.
Okay,
and explains the whole.
Because I've taken some breathworks and you start tingling and you start feeling your body and you start having all these things.
Yeah.
What about what other heart chakra things can you?
Again, so the psilocybin microdosing is amazing to really transmute and process and heal. I think that's a really powerful medicine. CBD is an amazing.
CBD is getting big now everywhere.
Like a daily. Kind of thing. Diet obviously is, so much of it. Fasting. I like to intermittent fast, like going like, 16 to 20 hours without eating sometimes. And just controlling your appetite there. I mean, there's a lot of different things. And I feel like that's the amazing thing about being in Tulum is that, there's so many people that are here to assist in the healing and the helping of those. It's very dualistic here, and we talk about like, duality and dark and light and all that stuff. You've got the party crowd. We got a party going on in the back here in the background. I mean, there's always something, right?
Yeah.
But it also gives you the ability to make a choice and, just put yourself in situations and around people and, that want to better themselves. And grow and learn and heal and just be in alignment and health.
Yeah.
So
I think Tulum has definitely that space where it's a healing space, but it's also a crazy get lost space. When you get here, people can go in either direction, and that's fine. I mean, sometimes you have to get lost a bit. Sometimes you need to be lost to be found, like the duality of it. And I think Tulum is a perfect place for that, for the duality. It exemplifies that really well, where, it's up to you, what's calling you, where do you want to go? Do you want to go and get lost and into the crazy drug scene and party scene, which is that's your thing. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. Or do you want to do more of the healing and get in tune with your opening yourself and where you're at?
Yeah.
So
Definitely. It's just, man, it's always a test. It's always an opportunity to be non-reactive in
non-reactive.
everything.
What do you mean?
Like, just the middle way.
The middle ground.
Yeah, not too high, not too low. Just in control of your emotions. And
But some people will say, are we even in control of our emotions? Are we in control of anything in life? What do you think? I mean, I would assume that you probably think there are some aspects of control.
Well, and that's actually that's a good question, because a lot of the stuff we are out of control of because of our conditioning, because of the way that society, has slated things in terms of what and how we should operate or what we should do, or the schooling system and the food system and all these different things. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. It's kind of a multifaceted, kind of beast in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we're getting there though, right?
Right.
I think we're really just evolving and at a rapid pace too. Like you see that within the crypto space, and like now with like art, NFTs, and like all this, create all these creative things, and the way of being, the way of the living is just changing, day to day, so quickly and rapidly.
Right. I think it's sped up a lot with the whole worldwide situation that we're in now. It's more now, instead of people are kind of had gotten a shock to their system where everything just went to a halt.
Right.
The whole world just stopped spinning in a matter of a week.
Right.
And now we're kind of we've kind of switched things up a lot, and people are kind of becoming more used to this space of being able to maybe understand that not everything is going to be the same way, and you can work on changing and doing things on your own pace. But a lot of people still struggle with that, I think.
Right.
What do you think? I think people are struggling. I think people are with this idea they want to go back to their normal or the way things were. But some people are adapting, and the people who are able to adapt. I think it was Charles Darwin. People say that Charles Darwin said it's the survival of the fittest, which is not. It's the survival of those who are able to adapt best. So,
yeah, definitely. And I think that when it comes to consciousness, that's what we're looking at right now. In terms of the grand scheme of it all, is how can we evolve, efficiently, the most efficiently, to better suit future generations. And I think with everything, in terms of global warming, the ozone layer being, destroyed, and climate change and all this stuff that's going on, that's a real, it's been a real issue, is how can we be better? Like that's the one thing that really throws me here, is like the trash, and like you're walking through like the jungle or just some of these neighborhoods, and it's just there's plastic everywhere. We got to do better, as a human race. We're destroying the world.
But I think also too, I mean, yeah, there's trash, and how is it that people, there's a lot of Western people, a lot of Americans here, a lot of Europeans here, and there's still so much trash, and I see people from modern societies, and they're still contributing to this. And how is it that even with the education and knowing how bad it is for the environment, people still do it?
Unconsciousness. It's just that simple. It's just not being present.
Being on autopilot.
Yes, literally being a fucking zombie. Straight up.
Yeah, okay. So we're zombie walking through the world.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, so that's what, again, this is what this all stems back to, and what a lot of people have come out here for in Tulum is community, connection, the ability to create and, be in a space where they can truly be themselves, and be supported and accepted and just loved for their gifts.
Right.
And if we all tap into that, the world, changes, man.
Okay. So what other, I mean, you're facilitating that, helping with the men's circle and Alley with the girl gang. And
Sure.
there's a few circles like that here in Tulum. What else, what other ways can we, people listening, can they help, or
I just
tips?
living your truth, like figuring out a lot of people, and like that's been a ever evolving thing for me, and like especially creatively. It's like, we've been talking about you want to like start a house and like do like the creative stuff, and I think that's so important, and I'm realizing that more and more every day is like, what and how can I hone my inner child, and the playfulness and the fun and the excitement, day to day, and not be so put in a box or rigid with all my approaches in terms of, being an entrepreneur or a business person or a leader or all these things, right? Like, how can I actually just lean into what excites me, and the stuff that, like, I've just been considering a lot of things as of recent, with, what I'm doing, like in the space, and especially in this community, there's just so much opportunity. Right. And, so just kind of letting that all like, come together. And I think that, you don't know until you try,
Right.
You really gotta like put yourself out there.
Yeah. I think, being able to, like you said, hone in on your truth and what's your inner child, and let that kind of resonate with you, and then work on yourself first, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not so obvious, because a lot of people, I mean, we may kind of know that because we're in that circle of everyone is kind of in the same vibration and talking about you need to work on yourself first before you can help others. But I don't think that's as common as we think it is. I mean,
it's not.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what happens is, especially like a place in Tulum, we kind of live in this bubble where we see other people, and they're like, oh yeah, you have the same ideas as us, and like, wow, the world is changing and the world is becoming better, and like, yeah, you're creating this amazing content, trying to be positive, be this light, and you're also doing that, and you're meeting all these people, so you think like, wow, the world is changing, but and you have these similar ideas and these similar conversations. You think, wow, everyone has these conversations, but no, that's just your bubble. And then there's different bubbles, different pockets of people with, other ideas, maybe like less higher vibration. Maybe some people who have the wrong idea about racism or about how to treat women or gender equality and the way you should live your life.
Right.
So I think it's a matter of popping these bubbles and just penetrating it, and just like creating this like one bubble of like positive vibration.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah, because there's I can see like as I'm looking into the map of the world, I'm seeing like little pockets of bubbles, and within those there's little bubbles, and it's just like, let's just pop these bubbles and just create it.
I love it. No, that's a great analogy, man. I mean, it's a patience game. You got to kind of let, like, when you want to go to a macro level with it, right? Like, we've been, on this earth, living beings have been on this earth for millions of years, right?
Millions.
It's been billions, right? Like, in this, we live in a universe that's infinite. It doesn't end. It's like literally endless.
Infinite, yeah. Or maybe it goes and then we come back. It's like a circle.
Oh, there you go. I mean, there's so many different
theories.
Yeah, but
what do you think?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for me, it's almost like let's say, for example, in 10 years we achieved world peace, right? And everyone was vibrating on this high frequency and stuff. How long can you maintain that? I think there's always cycles, right? It's always, you have these times of really, really high peace, and then you have times where you're just going to go down, and you're going to have dark days, and it's just going to be like cyclical. It's going to be these ups and down roller coasters.
Yeah.
So it's just, we're on whatever point we're on, whether we're going up or we're going down, we're just somewhere. We just landed here. We're born and we're landed to this time in reality, and at whatever part of the roller coaster ride or the cycle we're at, we just gotta, do our best to keep it up, keep it going. Or, there's some people who are bringing it down, but maybe, like you said, it's all divinity, right? I mean, even if it's going down, even if it's going to a dark place, it's up to you to visualize it how you want to see it. You can be in this dark space, but one of my friends, he was a few months ago, he got arrested by the police for immigration and got sent to the police prison. And there he could have been like upset for a few days, but what he did, he ended up meditating, he ended up writing, he ended up trying to talk to the chef to create maybe more vegetarian options for the prisoners, and create a better workspace. And he talked to the other people who were also locked up and said, hey, like let's just sit down and meditate together, and let's just try to embrace and take this as opportunity to grow and to expand this new experience.
Right.
Where someone else can be like, oh man, this sucks, like I hate it, why is this happening to me?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's always an opportunity to reflect and learn and grow and integrate. And I think that, back to what you're even saying with the place we're at in the world, and the cycles and all that kind of stuff. We live in a dualistic, polaric world. And at least in this reality, who knows what happens in the next, where we go. Or I truly believe that, that there's, parallel realities and different lives. And, I don't know how that all,
What's
breaks
your
down.
belief? So we live in different dimensions. I want to hear the Scott's view on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too complex, to be honest. Like, I haven't really, dove into it in the sense of, trying to really break it down, because that's a pretty, again, multifaceted type of perspective to have, but, again, infinite possibilities, man. That's what I got tattooed on me. Posibilidades infinitas.
Okay, nice. And you also have, what is this? Knowledge is...
Wisdom is knowing I'm nothing. Love is knowing I'm everything. In between those two, my life moves.
What?
Hindi translated, man. Yeah. Nothingness and everythingness through love, right?
Wow. Wisdom is knowing you know nothing. Love is knowing you everything.
Yeah.
That you are everything.
Wisdom is knowing I'm nothing. I'm nothing, right? Love is knowing I'm everything.
Okay.
In between those two, my life moves.
Okay.
Nothing and everything, all at the same time.
Oh, that's deep.
Right? So,
where have you been moving at? I mean, where are you at right now? I mean, I know you're creating also some courses and some online things, and you're also doing some other projects with schooling and.
Yeah, definitely. It's being support in the meta mastery space for a 12-week program, and just kind of seeing where those things where it goes. Like my real true focus right now is community and creativeness. Really leaning into like I said, the things that light me up. Art, connection, Wednesdays, kind of having that the duality, two opportunities for men to connect, and then for the community to connect, and express and dance and share art and eat amazing food, and just seeing where that kind of goes.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm like very very open. I've really surrendered into what I feel like. I don't pull tarot much, but I pulled a few cards the other night. A friend had this amazing deck, just was hanging. I was like, I'll pull a few, and it was spot on. It was exactly where I'm at and what I need to kind of just rest into and just.
What did it say?
Relax into.
If you want to share,
I mean, essentially that I'm in a space right now in my life, and where I've been at and what I've been doing, where just to trust and surrender to what is, and not try to force and figure out and be in my masculine so much, just, man, control, relinquishing that. I'm very hyper in my masculine in that sense. I've always been very determined, driven, achieving, have to figure it all out myself, and I'm just allowing things to kind of unfold organically in that sense, letting the universe kind of present me with different things,
opportunities.
Yeah, totally. And where I want to go with that, because life doesn't have to be a one track kind of one facilitated type of approach when it comes to work or passions or anything of that nature, especially when it comes to making a living. Again, back to what we were talking about, to figuring out what you want to do, what excites you, what lights you up, what makes you excited to wake up every day,
Okay.
and do and live life,
Yeah. For
instead
you,
of being like a slave or like an obligatory like type
zombie.
of task, zombie. Exactly.
And for you, it's what? It's community and art and
In music,
music. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, and like seeing how that all shakes out right now. I'm really in a period, like a holding period, I guess, of like really looking at a lot of different options in terms of what I've been doing, where I've been going, what I've been, feeding into.
Right.
So
So what does the community look like currently in Tulum? With yeah, with like art and people here, and what does it look like to
I
you?
think it's amazing. I think there's a beautiful amount of just eclectic and brilliant, interesting, amazing, all the adjectives, when it comes to people and their capabilities out here. It's really transient. I think that people
Mm,
are I don't think we're really weighing in like the fear from this past year with COVID and just all the stuff that pertains to what's been going on a global front.
okay.
And we're gonna move back into an orange zone again on Monday here, and it's like,
Uh, you know what I also think? It's almost like Tulum. I just thought of it. Tulum is almost as like this club, right? It's a cool club,
yeah,
right? And it's like when you like, oh, let's go to Tulum, let's go to the Tulum club, and you walk into the club, and yeah, there's a few people there, and you're like, oh, okay, it's cool, and then maybe some, and then you said, hey, should we stay a little bit longer, or should we go? And then you end up leaving because you don't know if you want to stay or not. Then you leave, but then other people come along, and then you miss those people and then it gets really really big, but then like some people leave, and then it gets smaller and bigger and better, and then maybe it dies down a bit, but it's just people coming and going. Some people stay longer, some people come only for a little bit
sure,
of time, and they say,
sure,
hey, this is cool, I'm a part, but let's go somewhere else.
yeah,
And it's kind of like Tulum is this club, and there's people coming in and out, but there's a lot of transit people, so it's kind of maybe a little bit harder to build a community, even though there are so many amazing, beautiful people coming.
yeah. I
How do
mean,
you hold on to them?
that we were talking about that even before we went live here, was like the transientness to it all. It makes it difficult. It makes it challenging to cultivate relationship at times,
Yeah.
but there's also some beauty in, again, the letting go aspect of it all as well.
Right, yeah.
The people that are going to stay, and it's not like it's a goodbye forever, at least in the sense of, I mean, anything, whatever, we can leave this earth tomorrow, be more present, be more appreciative, grateful for this time we have here, but also be non-attached. But yeah, like when it comes to actually like, people living, in a given place, that, just to, let it be what it is, and love and show up as your best self as much as you can for those times you have. You just don't know when it's,
When
it's coming to an end.
come to an halt.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
What's your theory on the afterlife or death or the end of?
I actually, Stan Lee was in an interview two people that passed away with Larry King. I was watching the other day, and he's like, Larry King was asking him, what do you think happens after, he died? Do you think we go somewhere? And he's like, no. No. Do you think anything? No, I think it's, nothing happens. I think we just, just go into place. But I have a really hard time grasping the fact that that's just what it is forever, that we're just in a sleep state, that we don't turn and evolve into something another living expression of the universe, or,
What do you think that is?
Man, I don't know. I think there's so much to it that it's difficult to wrap your mind around. But again, if you want, like, in terms of, to answer your question, why? Because we live in an infinite universe that never ends.
Okay.
There's no end to the earth. There's end to the earth. There's no end to the universe, the galaxy.
Yeah, I think Einstein said that, the only reason that he believes in maybe in some afterlife or some higher being is because or some things, because energy cannot be created or destroyed, it's simply transferred or something like that. So, when your body seeks to maybe stop moving and starts decaying, your energy, like, what's powering this body?
Yes.
What's creating this movement? Why am I having these thoughts, this experience? Where does that energy of experience and memory and collectiveness gets transferred to?
Right. Well, and there's kind of some peace to that too, right? And like being, like, man, sometimes it's exhausting to be a human, right? And so, like, yeah, like resting into the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, that's also a good point.
So,
There's this TV show called The Good Place. I don't know
yeah.
if you've ever seen it or
No.
seen a trailer for it, but
Uh-uh.
it's on one of these like big networks. But spoiler alert. So if you want to watch The Good Place, don't listen. But anyways, kind of it's like a kind of corny show a bit,
Sure.
but the ending was really good. Where it's on the premise that when you die, you go into this good place, but they had these demons running the good place, and it actually was hell, but they were just pretending it was a good place. It was like this like teaser thing,
Right.
and towards the end, they ended up going to the good place, which is heaven, and what they started realizing was that they were living these enormous, like, millions of years of lives. They were enjoying heaven. They did everything they ever wanted to do, but people that were in heaven were so kind of bored or in this depressive state, because sometimes things just have to end. We want to live forever and keep going on, but
do we?
I think we do. I think our ego wants us to.
There it
maybe.
is, our ego.
Yeah.
You just said it right there, man.
Yeah.
The ego wants to live on. It wants to be a physical, like this I'm connected and glued and just so tied to this reality. And then our soul is like, yo, I'm infinite, man. Like I'm ready to express and be and dance and do different things, and
Right.
and it's the remembrance of it. So that's kind of the cool thing about what and where we're at in terms of it all and the evolutionary process is I feel like we're really able, especially with technology, to start to peel back these layers a little bit more and maybe
Okay.
find our true essence and like where we came from. And I mean, again, with the way that technology's evolving, there's just who knows what could transpire in the next decade,
I like that. Yeah, I'm both a opportunist and also a skeptic of technology. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I think that, like, it's great that technology is evolving and all these things.
Yeah.
But also to just maybe evolving the human spirit first before we
Yes.
start evolving this highly technical, capable society of, I was having a conversation with this other guy on my podcast, and he was talking about how batteries are so inefficient.
Right.
And that if you can redo batteries and have a lot of energy within a battery, but that's also dangerous, because if you have a battery with a lot of energy, then you can create weapons with it and all
Right.
these things. But in a sense where if we're not able to handle technology as humanity, like with the nuclear war that we
Right,
had,
right,
the
right.
Cold War,
Right.
then you can have all the technology. I mean, look how capable we are with our smartphones and technology. And what do we use it for? The same primitive things, porn and social recognition. And then we can become addicted to it because we're not spiritually evolved. We may have all, the frontal lobe, and our brains may have evolved more than our primitive ancestors.
Right.
But we're still not spiritually evolved to handle technology, handle this like great tool.
Yeah, and that's some great points there. It's all cyclical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a very real factor or reality that we could, wipe ourselves out again as a humanity. We've done it before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Empires and the evolution of it all, like, so there's not, I don't really necessarily think that there's like a there isn't right and wrong. There's only alignment, and until we align ourselves with truth and our highest essence of living and being, then I think we'll find ourselves in these cyclical patterns as we evolve, and it is what it is. I try to just, like, again, non-attach myself from the the whole outcome and what's going to transpire, and just focus on what can I do to be better and make impact and help people and build community and just do all these different things.
Nice. So how do you, as a attractive single male in Tulum, how do you handle relationships here?
Decently attractive. I mean, I try to keep things, on point. Get the workouts in, do a little Muay Thai.
Where do you do Muay Thai at?
Oh, my dearest friend, a good friend that I met out here when I first moved, Tishna.
Oh, Tishna, yeah. Is she still here?
She is. She leaves in June for the summer. But we've been training. I've been a little bit off of it as of recent. But that's what I do. And then I do a lot of like circuit, just like body weight training, push-ups every day, a couple hundred.
And so how do you deal with the women here in Tulum as a
man?
Yeah, how's your
the
relationships with the women of Tulum?
Yeah, I would say that I think that that's always a depiction of where you're at in terms of your evolutionary process or your spiritual journey or whatever, and wherever you're at in the context of it all. Because the feminine's always going to reflect back what either you need to learn or just the balance that you see in your life with it as well. So I've had some beautiful relationships and connections that I've made out here for sure. And getting to a place where you can be authentic, open, transparent out of the gate, especially with the transientness we talk about. I think that it gives you an opportunity to really be more present and real with people. And also set boundaries as well, like and what where you're at with it all. I don't see myself getting married anytime in the next
decades.
5 right 5-10 years or anything, but I'm open to a hybrid type of relationship, partnership.
What does that look like, hybrid?
I don't know. Just nothing conventional. I think that conventional relationships are not to say you don't have a soulmate or your person or any of those things, but I just don't know if I'm totally sold on monogamy or
I hear the women saying, "Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
men can't commit. All these things." What do you think?
And it's not that you can't commit. It's that you when you look at the animals and in the in the greater spectrum of it all,
Mm-hmm.
99.9% are not monogamous.
Okay.
And times are changing, and constructs in terms of marriage and what that looks like, and community building, family, it's not all just a linear path like it's society's made it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for me, I just feel like I'm not in a place of being threatened by other people, and what that looks like in terms of the context of dating and being open, and that we're going to be attracted to other people as we evolve and grow. We're not, it's not like a one person, that's it, done, never doing anything the rest of my life.
Especially in Tulum, so many attractive, beautiful souls.
Yeah, and I think again, when it comes back to love, right, that's what we're all trying to express and feel. So what's wrong with doing that, right?
Expressing love in a non-binding, non-committing, and an open,
loving space and having connection and relationship, and that type of just approach with it all.
Okay. So when you meet, let's say you see a beautiful, attractive person, and you go up to them and you talk, and you're having a conversation.
Sure.
Do you disclose this first, or how do you approach the situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's really
you just let it flow and not put any labels, not even just let whatever happens.
No, I think communication is important, and especially when you get to know someone, if you feel like there's a spark there's a connection, to say, hey, this is kind of where I'm at. Where are you at? How are you feeling? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to get married?
On the first date. Maybe you do. I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I had a beautiful type of situation and relationship that I went through, late last year, that opened my eyes to, what do I not want, and what do I want,
Okay.
on the tailor, on the flip side, to tailor to what I, desire.
Right.
Right. And that we don't, just because it doesn't work with one person doesn't mean that, it can't work with someone else, or that you can't still cultivate a connection. Like my ex and I went through a difficult breakup, and came out the other side as very close, loving, communicative,
Is this the one where you
people.
realized last year, or was it a different one?
Realized.
So you said you went through a beautiful relationship that opened your eyes to like what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah, beautifully, like tumultuous, Yeah, so I mean that really, opened my eyes to just what I want, what I don't want.
Okay.
And that you can still salvage. I think connection, first and foremost, is the catalyst to anything. And so that's what I lead with, is like, I don't want to like put anything in a box. I don't want to like rush into it. I think that anything starts with friendship, so really, whether you're intimate or not, being in a space where you can just openly communicate and be like, hey, I think you're a dope person.
Mhm.
And I want to continue to get to know you, and just have a beautiful just evolution of it all. And wherever it goes, and I think that's another thing with, I think Tulum's a base for me for the foreseeable future, but I definitely want to travel.
Okay.
And I don't know what, especially when it comes to creativity and like art and community building and all that kind of stuff, like, I don't know what that looks like yet. So I'm just I try to be mindful of, my connections, and like who I'm talking to and connecting with, and just being, cognizant of like what and where they're at, and not try to like just push my views or my ideals onto what maybe that doesn't, fit within their mold.
Okay.
So
yeah, I like that. So, when you're here in Tulum dating, do you go to certain places? Is there like, or it's just
no, I
No.
don't. No, I just let it flow.
just let it
Honestly,
happen?
I'm kind of like dating apps are kind of like a joke out here.
Yeah, definitely in
Really,
Tulum, I would say. Also,
I don't
even anywhere, but
I don't really desire. I used to when I was in the States, but that's because I didn't have community either.
right.
That's the beautiful thing. That's what we miss so much in Western culture, or really in general right now, outside of like indigenous, communities and tribes and that around the world, is like, we don't know how to like really truly like, connect
With people. Yeah, I
and
think.
like
Yeah.
dive deep and have intimacy, So that's what it is for me, is like, I don't really need to go out there and like talk to some random person on a dating app to like meet. I think it's kind of weird, honestly, now. And I find it so much more um uh, just appealing and exciting and interesting to like meet people in the, out and about,
But yeah, I think
different events and stuff,
like especially here in Tulum. I mean, I think that when you go on these dating apps, what you end up finding for a guy anyway, is a lot of, if you're looking for a woman and on a dating app, is that a lot of these women that you meet there are more maybe transient also too. So if you're
Yeah.
looking for that,
Yeah.
but also to maybe if they are here, if a woman's on a dating app, a very woman you maybe find them really attractive, and they're on the dating app, I think that there's something almost kind of weird about that, because if you're an attractive female, especially here in Tulum, there's so many opportunities for you to meet people that guys are gonna come in and why are you on a dating app? It's almost like
Like
maybe
attention.
You want some
That's it.
Instagram followers.
Yeah, well,
Hey,
really.
follow my Instagram. Actually, I'm more on Instagram than on Tinder. Message me there. Follow me there.
Yeah, that's what it is, though, man. Like, if you look at it, like, it's just that simple.
Yeah,
So
and I think like you said, in Tulum we have more community here, or more things to do where you're meeting more people. It's more social, or I think it was Mother Teresa, or I think it was, Mother Teresa, who said, for United States, look at those poor Americans. They suffer from too much, in a way where they're doing there's so much in our lives where we're not back to just the basics of just meeting people and having a good time and building community, where our sense of community is almost like after our 9 to 5 we go to a bar and get drunk, and then we try to find someone at a bar
Right.
or at some club, instead of because where else can you go? I mean, especially in a big city, maybe like New York or
There's nowhere, man. That's why the you know the foundation is falling apart at the seams now.
yeah, that's a good point.
You know, so
No
that's why we're out here
communication.
doing what we're doing and connecting and creating a base and a community and just doing and showing up for people to be able to express themselves, you know, is because that's not a thing. That's not a real tangible reality in Western culture.
Yeah. I think
So
what cultures do you think have the best, not the best, but like really good community, um yeah, good community where they're, they have open space and maybe family and friends, and where would you say? I think for me, I really like Colombia. Colombians are really open. Like I met a Colombian yesterday. I sold him a filter for a drone, and I'm selling his filter, and he's like, "Man, if you're ever in Colombia, come by. You could come stay at my house, and like we'll go out. We'll do some photography and film." I just met the guy, and
wow,
he's like, "Yeah," he
wow,
invited me to his space. I met his wife and his kid,
wow,
and it was just so open and
so
inviting.
cool.
And yeah, I think Colombian culture. I've been to Colombia, Medellin,
Yeah,
um,
same.
yeah, Tirona National Park. I've traveled a bit all over.
Did you go to
Guatape? No.
No,
Oh, with the
outside
palm
the
trees, or
no, the
oh,
tall. It's like the rock out, like the lake.
oh yeah,
Like
actually, yeah, I went there. Yeah,
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 yeah. I went to Guatape,
yeah,
and they have the Blue Lake. I went to Minca too, in the jungle. You go
yeah.
there. But yeah. Anyway, so like Colombians, super the culture in a sense. Where I mean, every place has amazing people, but the culture in Colombia for me is super inviting and nice. And also Bali, I like Bali. Balinese people are so open
Incredible.
and
Yeah,
incredible.
I lived in Ubud for like 4 months in 2019. I've been to different parts of Latin America. I think Latin America is beautiful. Costa Rica is an amazing place. Um, yeah, man. I mean, it's like anywhere but like America. You know, like it's like and truly like the Western way of being.
Yeah, I mean, I also think, I mean, America, well, the United States is that, I mean, there are some parts. It's such a huge country. I compare it to Europe, where in a sense it is one place, one country, but it's also separated into different areas. Yeah, we all speak the same language,
Yeah,
English, but there's different cultures
yeah,
within America,
yeah.
and then you can go to somewhere like Colorado and then
Sure,
get kind of more community than if you're in New York City or something like
sure.
that. Not that there's no community in New York City, but it's a different kind of community, more open, and yeah, you could go to some. Why is it that like some more rural areas are more community based? Is it because they're more in tune with nature?
Yeah, 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the West is so like reliant on structures and
Yeah.
facade built shit, like buildings and yeah,
Materialism,
and
yeah,
technology and all that
technology.
shit. You
And I
know?
think that's also one of the benefits of COVID and what's going on in the world, is that a lot of people are moving away from cities,
Yeah,
and they're buying homes with more space,
yeah,
and going into more rural areas, because the price is like, why live in a city when you can do anything?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, so I think that's a good thing, and building
definitely.
community. What would you like to see more? What would you, not more, but like, of when people come to Tulum, like what advice would you give them about community and being more, some people, a lot of people come here, what I get is that, oh, I'm here for a week, I might stay, I might not stay. That's kind of the reaction, right? It's like, I don't know, I'm here indefinitely, maybe I'll stay for a week, if I like it I'll stay longer, or a month, or um how can people, when they come here, come to Tulum and be more set, and or more focused on what it is that they want for community, and meeting people and building something.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that to just relax into the discomfort, the
The
unknown.
discomfort.
It's a different culture, different way of being, different pace, different everything, man. It's very feminine energy here, very flowy, and like things are changing. Every day seems different here.
Yeah.
Like really like conceptually,
Okay.
you know. Um just to like, yeah, to lean into it and challenge yourself, push yourself, connect with different people. Don't just take the easy, like, oh, let's go party and be mindless and get fucked up and, you know, blah blah blah. Like, there's a place for like music and expression and dancing and doing all that kind of stuff for sure. I'm with it. I've, you know, DJ'd for, you know, 10 plus years now, as a creative outlet, and I'm all for it, but I just think that there's a life shelf for that, you know, and that if you come here with that mentality, that you're gonna get burnt out quick. So
yeah, I think that's great advice. Like, pace yourself and come here with an open and good intention to.
Yes.
Yeah, the intention is really big here.
It is.
If you come here,
sacred lands, you know.
Yeah.
It's
sacred.
true.
Yeah. A lot of people say that. What do you think about the sacred land? How is a good way to come here and respect that?
Just being mindful of like what and how you're living or being, and just, yeah, not polluting the environment, you know.
Yeah.
So
then polluting doesn't just mean plastic, but it also means your energy, the energy you bring, polluting here with toxic or maybe this, I don't want to say it, but American mentality. Yeah. What is the American mentality to you when people come?
It's just very careless and like selfish and one track minded and yeah, man, like zombie status kind of mentality.
Yeah, or maybe also selfish and thinking that, you know, it's all about them. And
exactly.
Yeah, and
here comes the token American. You can spot him from a mile away, right? You know, it's unraveling that whole, you know, way of being. So
yeah, I think Tulum is a place to come here and and just set good intentions when you're coming here. If you are coming here with the intent to maybe stay here for a longer period of time, come here and try to set good intentions and with the idea to create something positive.
Yes.
So at least leave an impact. Maybe you only hear from us, but leave a positive impact with other people, and they can spread that. Yeah, I think so. So
100%, man.
Being part of Scott's men's circle and the creative circle space. Yeah.
Yes.
What's the difference? There's a men's circle and then the creative.
Yeah, I created a recent. I've got a few different like networks here. Like
what networks?
1,500 people. I don't know. I've got like a like for like community events. I've got like obviously Men and Women Tulum, Men of Tulum, Tulum Creatives is what you're speaking on, that I just created for people to just like put their stuff out there and like, you know, hey, this is what's going on, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm presenting, creating a space on Wednesdays, like I said, after the men's group for the public, you know, to come in and showcase art and dance and create and break bread and, you know, the whole bit. So
what brought you here to
just, you know, escaping the matrix. Honestly.
Yeah.
You know,
escaping the matrix,
getting out of the craziness that is.
And you started first in Selena? Is that where you went first?
I actually started this boutique hotel in Valletta called Hotel Panacea. It's a really cool little spot right there, just south of that main street in Valletta near Pizzine and on the way to Holistica, just south of it. Of that street, of that main street. And then I went to Selena for 3 months, and now I'm in Aldezama. Yeah, I've been here for like 6 months.
6 months here.
5, 6 months.
What do you think about Aldezama?
It's cool.
It's cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a good space.
It's good. It's quiet, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But there's also like parties and and people hanging out and having a good time.
Yeah.
I like the architecture here though.
It's beautiful.
There's a lot, like when you drive around, you don't really notice it as much, but then you go into a place and you're just like, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty special, man.
It's
a good place. But overall, I would say like Tulum in general has been, you know, the most transformative move of my life, and I definitely challenge people to get out of their comfort zone and come out here and see what it's about, and or just travel more in general, get out to different places that have community and an expat kind of just space.
Where do you want to go? What are you thinking?
I don't know yet. I don't really know. In terms of travel, like I would like to get out to other places in Mexico, for sure.
Okay.
And then I don't know where else.
Have
to
you
be
been to other
honest.
places in
I
Mexico?
like to go to Thailand. Thai food is like my top of my list. Really, truly, it's amazing. So get
What's some
there at
good
some
Thai
point.
places here?
Po curry, I think is what it's called.
Poker. Where's
At
that?
Los Amigos.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I was at Los
Incredible.
Amigos.
The pineapple fried rice is next level.
Actually, I'm gonna go there
It's,
soon. Actually.
it's legit.
Check it out.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Kakoi Cafe over by what's that place called? The what's that little all those carts that over there in
Palma Central.
Pablo Central. There we go. It's right there, man.
Okay, nice. They have some good curry there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to go to Thailand?
Yeah.
How long would you stay out there for?
Who knows? We'll see.
Okay.
Man, I'm very open to like whatever the universe is going to present in terms of opportunities to travel and connect and do all that stuff. So
All right. Nice. When are you thinking about going?
later this year, maybe.
Later this year.
We'll see what happens with all the COVID travel restrictions and everything. But yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. So do you want to talk about anything else or you're good?
I'm good, man.
Just like whatever this flow.
Yeah,
Let's just
man.
Let's just sit here and vibe.
Exactly, man. No, this has been great. Like I really I appreciate the outlet and the way that you've been, so committed to connecting people, and especially that are out here living. And I just think this is what it's about, man. Like more creativity, more community, more connection, more authenticity, and heart and mind cohesion.
Cohesion. Yeah. Combining everything together.
Yes.
But yeah, that's also like I'm really big on community, and me growing up, I've kind of been mostly a loner my whole life, and it's just that I don't know. I like community, but I like also connecting with people like-minded and vibrating on the same energy.
Yeah.
And that's for me. I find it, but also when I travel, so it's also transient. Where it's like you may find someone who has the same energy, but then it's like only for a day or two.
Yeah.
But then even that time doesn't really matter because you're with them for a day or two or a week or whatever.
There it is.
But that impact,
yeah,
it's just
there it is. If we can focus on that every time we interact with someone, that's where it's at, man.
Yeah, I think the issue a lot of people have is the attachment, like you said, to that, and always wanting it to last longer, and not just appreciating for what it is.
Let's just be better as humans, right? Let's keep evolving. Let's be more mindful and again a heart cohesion with it all. So that's what it comes down to, I think.
Heart, yeah. I've been so far. I've noticed that a lot of people talk about the heart, and with Tantra, they talk about the root, the sexual energy. I think has been the two biggest chakras that I've been hearing about in Tulum. So the heart, and the sexual. Is this the sexual chakra? It's not the sexual chakra.
Sacral chakra.
Sacral chakra.
Yeah.
Are two big energies that people have been focusing on. Yeah.
100%.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right, well, Scott, thanks, man, for being here and doing everything you're doing in Tulum with the men's circle and all the community building that you're doing here in Tulum. I know it's really important for a lot of guys here. I mean, I've talked to them after going to the men's circle here in Tulum, and they just say, like I needed this. I've been feeling down or depressed, and I just I needed to be around other guys and just see that like I'm not the only one. I think feeling that we're connected and we're not alone.
It's true, man. And I think that it's just an act of community service in a sense for me, and I'm grateful to be a conduit for it all. And if we all just keep doing what we can to connect with others, the world will be a better place, and truly be our most authentic selves. That's what it's about. And so that's what we can continue to do, and be creative and playful and really express our inner child and just love in general, man. That's what's going to pull us through this, these tumultuous times. Like I'll leave it with this. This is one of my most favorite, well, not my most favorite, period, end of story. This is the quote that sums it all up, man. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, if it's not love, it's a cry for love.
Okay.
So whenever you're in a situation, you find yourself whatever. If it's not love, it's a cry for love. Oh, we got some special guests.
All right.
Jumping
So
in.
you want to join in the podcast?
It's a beautiful thing, man. We do
Yeah.
podcasts out here, and all the lovely ladies just walking by. Some good friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Perfect
it.
timing. They actually said before we
That's
started
true.
the podcast
That's
they
true.
would
They're gonna
probably-
walk in.
as soon as we're ending the podcast.
Exactly. I love it.
It's
I
Tulum, and you manifest what you say here. The manifestation is real. Look at that. They said it. They literally said it, and it happened.
There it is, man.
And as soon as we're ending, right?
But because we were non-attached to it, man. It's the non-attachment. You know, it's putting it out there, the intention, and letting the universe magically unfold for you.
resonate with it.
Exactly. Let it all transpire the way it's meant to, because it's divine. It's divinity.
It's divinity.
My brother, love you, man.
All right, man. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
Boom.
Good
All right.
stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for listening and being part of this experience, being part of this community with us. And yeah, take care. Have a wonderful day. And we are out.
Peace.
Peace, 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 and love.